All set? Okay. Good evening. Call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Inform the public that we are unable to broadcast live again this evening. We will be in touch with Raynham to see what we can do about that. We apologize for that inconvenience. Has the board had a chance to review the minutes of our last meeting?
We have. Motion to approve them?
Okay. I'll second that. I'm assuming you're abstaining, Mrs.
Present.
Smith? Yes. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention by Mrs. Smith. Department heads, Mr. McGarry from the Veterans Committee.
Good evening. My name is John McGarry, Sewer Superintendent. I'm also member of the Raynham Veterans Memorial Committee. And a few years ago, the committee initiated a program to pay special tribute to Raynham residents who made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of our country. This recognition program was in the form of dedicating a specially designed fallen hero street sign in their memory. These street signs are located in the neighborhoods where these fallen heroes grew up. The intent is to allow pedestrians and motorists to view the signs and reflect on the courage and sacrifice of these young men who came from our own community. Thus far, we have recognized 6 Raynham fallen heroes from the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Vietnam, and 2 from World War II. Tonight, we would like to continue with this program by recognizing 2 more Raynham fallen heroes from World War II. With the assistance of our town librarian, Eden Ferguson, we developed a brief story on each of these young men. The first fallen hero I would like to tell you about is Private First Class Charles E. Kuttner. Charles E. Kuttner was born in Raynham, Mass. on August 20th, 1923. Charles was the youngest in his family of 3 boys and 3 girls. He lost his mother when he was only 14. He completed 3 years of Taunton High School. He was not married. Charles enlisted for the duration of the war in the United States Army in Boston on March 12, 1943, at age 19, and was assigned serial number 3130-3374. Private First Class Kuttner was killed in action in Europe on November 4, 1944, at age 21, after only 20 months of service. Private First Class Kuttner received the following military awards for his honorable service: Purple Heart Medal with White Cross Distinguishing Device to denote a posthumous award, American Campaign Medal, European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, World War II Victory Medal. Private First Class Kuttner was originally buried in France and reinterred in St. Joseph Cemetery in Taunton. His headstone is located in St. Peter's Plot, lot number 8. Private First Class Kuttner's home is believed to be near King Philip Street. For this reason, it is appropriate that his fallen hero sign be erected on King Philip Street at the intersection with South Main Street. I'd like to ask the board to authorize the highway superintendent to erect this sign in honor of Private First Class Charles E. Kuttner.
I move to do so, please. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is approved. Thank you, John.
The next fallen hero that I'd like to recognize tonight, Private First Class Wilfred M. Cabral. We have members of his family here in the back row. I'd like to welcome them to this dedication ceremony. Wilfred M. Cabral was born in Raynham, Massachusetts on September 3rd, 1917. He was baptized in Holy Family Church in East Taunton. Will was from a large family. He had 7 brothers and 5 sisters. He was married to the late Estelle Cabral. Will enlisted for the duration of the war in the United States Army in Boston on April 9, 1943, at age 26, and was assigned serial number 3130-9685. Private First Class Cabral served with India Company, 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division. This unit served with distinction in North Africa. Private First Class Cabral joined the unit in Anzio, Italy, and fought against the Germans up to Rome, Italy. In August 1944, the 3rd Infantry Division redeployed and landed in Saint-Tropez in southern France and advanced up the Rhone Valley through the Vosges Mountains and was advancing towards the Rhine River in eastern France. During that engagement, Private First Class Cabral was wounded in the shoulder and wrist from fragments of an enemy shell that burst near him. Private First Class Cabral died from those wounds on November 16, 1944, at age 27, after only 19 months of service. Private First Class Cabral received the following military awards for his honorable service: Purple Heart Medal with White Distinguishing Device to denote a posthumous award, American Campaign Medal, European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, World War II Victory Medal. Private First Class was originally buried in France, and the service was performed by the division chaplain, Ralph J. Smith. He was reinterred at the request of the family in St. James Cemetery, which is located off Liberty Street in East Taunton. His military headstone is located in plot number 404. Private First Class Cabral's home was near East Taunton in the Sandy Hill section of Raynham. For this reason, it is appropriate that his fallen hero sign be erected on Sandy Hill Road at the intersection with South Street East. And I'd like to ask the Board of Selectmen to authorize the Highway Superintendent to erect this sign at the intersection of South Street East and Sandy Hill in memory of Private First Class Wilfred Cabral.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that is approved. Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you.
I know there's some members of the Cabral family here. I don't know if anybody wanted to add any comments. If so, you're more than welcome to. Sure. Thank you. Any,
Excuse me, sir.
sure.
Can I get a photo with the family?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
If you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Good job, Chief.
Thanks. Any questions from the board, comments?
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you.
I appreciate
I
it.
work with you, indeed.
You do.
Cisco, yes. And I went to school with Peter. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Isn't that so?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Yes. Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you. Mrs. Smith, any comments?
This has been a program that the Veterans Committee had undertaken quite some time ago. John, do you recall how many of these signs we've put up so far?
I think we did 4, and now 4 more. We have 2 signs to present in a few weeks. And then we have a 2 World War II, 1 World War I, and a half a dozen Civil War.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
It's been an experience, hasn't it?
well, yeah, it's good history for Raynham. It's a worthwhile
Yes.
effort.
Yes. And it's a pleasure for us and a privilege for us to be able to honor these gentlemen in the way that we have,
Yes.
in the way that we have.
I often stop at the intersections and I see the signs, I reflect on them, I hope other people do as well.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
And I hope we've been able to bring them close enough to the people where they lived, you
Yeah.
know. It's been difficult at some times to try to find some of it, but so far, I think we've done pretty well. And I thank you for all the work that you've put into this, because you certainly have done
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, thank you for the honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
And thank you,
Appreciate it.
please, for coming in.
Thank
We
you all.
appreciate it.
You're welcome to stay if you want, but you also can leave. We don't take it personal. Jim?
Good evening. Activity report for the month of January. Fire incidents, fire MVAs, investigation and public assist calls were 72. Ambulance, medical emergencies, MVAs, public assist were 185. Miscellaneous inspections, fire alarm work, item of note, 81. Mutual aid, fire ambulance and mutual aid calls, 1 ambulance given, 3 ambulance received, 0 fire given, 2 fire received, total of 6. Line of duty shifts, 2 men for 360 hours. Sick shifts, 5 men for 115 hours. Incidents, last year at this time was 131 of 2016, we had 246. 131 of 2017, we have 237, a difference of 9. Injury report, Lieutenant Johnson is following up on his appointments. It was February 7th. Doctor has ordered work condition therapy for 8 weeks and hoping this will give him more strength in his left arm. His next following appointment is April 4th. I think that's good news for Barrett. They're giving him work therapy, so just knock on wood. Firefighter Jason Carnes. Jason had an appointment with his nerve specialist on 125/17. They found no nerve damage. Jason has had his follow-up appointment with the orthopedic doctor on February 7th, 2017. The doctor has prescribed a different anti-inflammatory medication, hoping this will help with his pain so he can continue strengthening. His next appointment is March 14th, 2017. Sadly, we had could have been a real good house fire if the guy didn't recognize it. 87 Lakeview Drive. Careless disposal of smoking material in a plastic barrel under his computer table, and set the table on fire and went up into the wall, but we were lucky we had a good stop there. So other than that, any questions?
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome.
Okay, we have 2 appointments this evening. The Finance Committee is requesting the appointment of Linda DeMello to one of the seats on the Finance Committee.
We've already sent that to...
Yes, and they're recommending.
Okay, I move to appoint Linda DeMello.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
She's approved, and the Police Department is requesting William Morden be appointed as a special police officer as he's completed his hours of reserve intermittent training.
I move to appoint him.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. No other appointments this evening. We have 2 public hearings this evening for alcohol compliance, and the first one we will take is Slap Shots. Please be informed that the Board of Selectmen, acting as a local licensing authority, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 14th at 7 p.m. at Raynham Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, on your alleged violation of alcoholic beverage statutes serving alcohol to a minor. On January 11th, a compliance check was conducted by the Raynham Police Department as part of an annual townwide check of alcoholic beverage licenses. At the time, alcohol was served to an undercover underage operative of the police department, which is outlined in the attached report. As a result of the hearing, your alcoholic beverage license may be modified, suspended, revoked, or canceled pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 138. You are required to attend this hearing, and you may also have legal representation if you desire. Mr. Jeff, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's okay, Sinkowitz.
Sinkowitz, thank you, Jeff. Chief, Lou, do either one of you want to comment on the report or let it speak for itself right now?
Yeah, I can speak for myself
Okay.
right now, and then I got a couple concerns maybe.
Okay, thank you. So, Jeff, I understand you've received a copy of the report, and the report says you spoke to Detective Pacheco
I did.
regarding the incident. I don't know if you have any questions, comments at this time regarding it?
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
So,
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we screwed up. And the irony is that it's a server that probably has never not carded anybody. She's been with me the longest, and in my opinion, the least likely person to do something like that. Just caught off guard on a slow night. Bartender went out to take a quick break. She just ran up, girl came to the bar, and it is what it is. I mean, obviously, she called me crying after the fact. I was actually in a business meeting that night. And I'm just like, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. She thought she was going to lose her job, and if she's a very good employee, I would never fire her for that reason unless there was other concerns, and I know it's not going to happen again. She actually carded 50-year-olds at a table, and they were almost insulting them. She was like, I'm sorry, I'm just doing, she's working in fair right now, and understandably, and we have everything in place. All my service bartenders are all tip certified, so we're all fine with that. And they're all well aware that, don't take anything for granted. The girl that came in looked of age, and it is what it is. You just can't take that for granted because they have to have a physical ID, and we know that.
Thank you. Any questions for Jeff before I go to Lou?
I do not have any questions at this time. I just read the report, so
Lou?
we can continue with...
I would say Jeff and everybody there, they were super cooperative, and it was appreciated. And I mentioned to the chief too, I just didn't know, basically, we had 2 problems this year, and in both cases, there was no manager on duty. So I just think that should be something we should look at as far as, we do serve alcohol in the town. It just seems like a manager should be on duty at that time. I don't know if that's something we can do or something. Should already be done, I'm not sure, you guys know probably better than me, but.
Absolutely.
But like I said, they were cooperative in the completion process.
I mean, just for the record, the bartender that was on, he's been a manager at various bars in town, and I consider him the person in charge on Tuesdays, which is my day off. I also take Wednesdays off, and I have a shift manager on Wednesday nights as well. She's been, I think, the last 4 owners in that building. So they're very responsible people. They know what they're supposed to do. They have all the contact numbers. Like I said, I was down in New Bedford in a business meeting. I would have been there, and I would have been in contact with Mr. Pacheco a lot quicker, but I had my phone off, and, the one night that I actually do something, my night off, this happened.
No, understood, and like I said,
Yeah.
I just think that as a rule, maybe it's something we should look at.
Yeah.
Just to
So-
manager on duty when that was.
Okay.
So, before we go to comments,
Jeff, I know you've appeared before this board before, and my recommendation is probably not going to come as a shock to you, and I hope it doesn't come as a shock, but this board has always had a policy of 100% compliance, and we've had a record of issuing suspensions regardless of the offense. And I believe, though I appreciate your coming in tonight and your cooperative nature, both with our police department and with the board this evening, that the message has to continue to be clear here in Raynham, is that we don't tolerate the serving to minors under any situation. And it's with that I would recommend to the board a 1-day suspension of the liquor license, as is with keeping with our past practice.
May I make a comment?
No, please do.
Thank you very kindly. I have read this, and I do see that you were most cooperative, and you've been in business for quite some time, so I know you understand the whole situation. As a comment to what Officer Pacheco said, is there someone there all the time who has the authority and owns up to the responsibility of being not quite manager per se, but who is the responsible party? Do you have someone there
There
at
is.
all times who
Yes.
is the responsible party?
Absolutely, and the bartender that was on that night was the person in charge. Unfortunately, the girl that was so shaken, everybody's like, oh, no, when the police come into a bar and, you made a mistake, they freak out and they don't know what to say. I mean, but the bartender was the person in charge, just like on Wednesday nights, my bartender is the person in charge. They're key holders, they have absolute authority to do anything necessary, and they have my direct contact. So I do have management in
So
place.
as long as there is someone
There
who
is.
is absolutely in charge.
Absolutely, there is.
All right, that's my only comment. And as far as the suspension is concerned, as Mr. Pacheco also said, that is the standard practice of this board, that it is a 1-day suspension. So I would so move that we would issue a 1-day suspension to Slapshots regarding this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What we've done in the past, Jeff, on first-time offenses, if they're cooperative with us, is we give them I think about 2 or 3 business days, and we let them pick a day that they'd like to have the suspension. We obviously want to use this as a teaching lesson, and to reiterate that we have zero tolerance, but at the same time, we want to be supportive of businesses in town. The liquor license suspension doesn't require you to close the establishment that day. You just cannot serve any type of alcohol the entire time you're operating. So if you'd like, you can, if the board's okay with it, take a day or two and get back to our office with the date you want to observe the suspension.
Okay,
Okay?
I can do that.
So if we don't hear from you, maybe by week's end, we'll,
Issue one.
we'll issue a date for you.
Am I reaching out to Randy's
Randy,
office? I'm
yes.
sorry, I know your name.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that. All
All right, thank you.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
The next hearing we have is for Hibachi Sushi Buffet. Dear Ms. Liu, please be informed that the Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 14th at 7 p.m. at Raynham Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, on your alleged violation of the alcoholic beverage statute serving alcohol to a minor. On January 11th, a compliance check was conducted by the Raynham Police Department as part of an annual townwide check of alcoholic beverage licensees. At that time, alcohol was served to an undercover underage operative of the police department, which is detailed in the report enclosed. As a result of the hearing, your alcoholic beverage license may be modified, suspended, revoked, or canceled pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 138. You are required to attend the hearing, and you may have a legal representation present if you desire. Sir, can you identify yourself for the record?
Yes. You need my name?
Yes, your name and your address.
Peter Yao and 208 Somerset Avenue, Taunton.
Okay, and are you the owner, manager?
Manager.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments you want to bring to the board?
Not really.
No, okay. Are you accepting responsibility of, okay, all right. Lou, do you have any comments?
Yeah, just real quickly, Peter actually came out that night. I called, he immediately came right out, but my same concerns, like I said, we had 2 places that failed, for lack of a better term, and both places, there was no manager on duty whatsoever, you know? So that would just be something that I would like to bring up, and make sure we do that with alcohol.
Sure, thank you. Any questions from the board?
I don't have any questions. I think this is another clean
Yeah.
situation. Do you want to make any comment before you?
I do, just quickly, the same question to you, Peter. Can you talk about that night particularly, why there wasn't a manager on duty?
Yeah, cause I was day off. And the guy was new, so but he's is cashier, so she not supposed to take a drink to the usually it's the waitress done that, but I don't know why he did that. So
when you're not there, though, is there anybody, to the police department's point, is there anybody there who has the authority to handle a situation like that?
not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a plan in place moving forward? Because this board can stipulate that you have to have a manager on duty anytime you're serving alcohol.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna hire someone else, one more manager. So
Okay.
be there, and I have day off.
Okay, so when do you think is a reasonable time frame for us to expect something like that to be in place?
Maybe next week.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're hiring. So.
Okay, so if we were to do a check again in about a month or so, it's reasonable to expect the manager will be there at all times?
Yeah, because I always be there all the time. So yeah.
Well, I mean, so if you get a day off or you're sick or something, that happens to all of us. We, again, just want to make sure somebody else is going to be there to handle the situation.
Yeah, because the lady over there, I think she's take care of it, but because the guy came just for vacation, he's in college, from New York, and he come here because he's the family, the owner's family, so he come here for part time. So that's why I let him be there.
Okay.
Usually, the other ladies take care of it. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, but I think it's very important to point out that this is a situation that somebody has to be responsible. So therefore, I would recommend that I motion that he has somebody there whether it's a manager or a person designated to be responsible every day, whether it be you or somebody else, somebody has to be responsible, so that when a situation occurs and the police department come in, they ask who the manager is, and that one person can answer any questions. Can you do that? Can you
Yeah.
designate somebody? You
Yeah.
don't have to hire somebody, designate somebody within your realm of staff every day to be the responsible party when you're not there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we can do it, yeah.
You can do that? Okay, okay. And I hate to say this to you, but you will get a one-day suspension for
Okay.
infringing upon the
Yeah.
rules, okay?
Is that a motion?
And that is a motion.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll extend the same courtesy to you. If you can get back to us within a couple days, we'll allow you to pick the date of your suspension. If we don't hear from you by week's end, we'll designate a date for you.
I can say it now,
Yeah, you can tell us now.
because maybe, next Tuesday.
Next
'Cause
Tuesday.
I'm not gonna be there next Tuesday.
Okay.
Because
So-
the other lady will take care of this. So.
Okay, so you'll understand then that next Tuesday you will not be permitted to sell any alcohol whatsoever.
Okay, just that day, right?
Just that day.
Okay.
You can still serve food and
Just no-
non-alcoholic beverages,
Okay, yeah,
okay?
Okay.
So next Tuesday?
next Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, is that amenable to the board?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Lou, anything else for us?
No, like I said, Matt, I think a manager designee would be perfect. You understand what I'm coming from?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Don't forget your coat.
I'm too cold to get
Yeah.
Thank you, yes, you're all.
Any new business, Miss Roberts?
Nothing.
Donnie?
Nothing.
I- sometimes
We
I
both
get it.
have nothing.
Mrs. Smith?
New business?
Okay. Old business, Mrs. Donahue.
Nothing.
Mrs. Smith?
Okay. I went to the Business and Economic meeting on Monday, yesterday, and they're getting ready to do their awards, which is going to be done in April, and they've got some very nice people that they're going to recognize, so hopefully we can all go to, it'll be the first Monday in April. I also went to the rave meeting last night, and Superintendent Swenson was there, and I questioned the article I had read in the newspaper regarding the budget that
8%.
almost gave me a heart attack. I read all my papers when I got home, and I picked that one up, and I said, 8.4, what is this? At any rate, that was their first preliminary budget. They are now going into budget hearings, and they're going to try to trim that. Wednesday, they're going to Boston to make a finally get a determination as to what they're going to do with the Mitchell School. They don't know if they're going to get any funding, or if the funding will be for rehab or for new building or what. So they will be doing that. And we did speak a little bit about the future, realizing that there's 300 more units going up in Bridgewater. Now, in the last 250 units that they put up, there was a busload of kids out of there.
Yeah.
So we can anticipate at least another busload of kids. I don't know where we're going to put them. There isn't any room. We have 8th graders in the high school, 2 kindergarten grades on the stage in the Merrill School, and all this means more teachers, whatever. But at any rate, he's going to let me know tomorrow how he makes out for that. We have to be careful of that. Peter left, and I wanted to tell him this in case he didn't know. TJ Square, you were involved with that?
I wasn't,
You
no.
weren't, you went to the other school. Okay. Well, TJ Square, Peter was very involved in TJ Square. And this year, the game, the competition, the whatever they call that challenge that they have, is going to be held here in Raynham. So we're going to have students from all over the place coming in on, I believe it's March 11th and 12th, and that should be a great time. So all the parents of the alumni TJ Square kids try to go, because they certainly will enjoy it. And I think that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Smith. Town Administrator's Report, Mr. Buckner.
It's budget time, as you know. Budgets are now due. Mr. Flaherty is working on the health insurance budget, which differs significantly from department budgets. And of course, Dave is familiar with doing department budgets since he's been doing the Board of Health for 4 or 5 years. So I gave him something else, something different to do. I'm sure he appreciates it too. On the marijuana legislation, as I said last week, we did attend a Serpent-sponsored briefing. They recommend a moratorium, temporary moratorium, which is done by article at town meeting if the town does not think it'll be ready by the fall. And this can be done at the fall town meeting, and I do have a template, a recommended template for that. Upcoming next Selectmen's meeting, February 21st, Department Head, special guest star perhaps. North School Committee tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., Department Head meeting Thursday morning at 10 a.m., and of course Monday is President's Day, and town offices will be closed.
Thanks, Randy. Any questions? Okay. Randy, when would you need, if we wanted to move forward with the temporary moratorium, a request from this board for the May town meeting?
It can be in November at the at the fall.
Oh, you don't think we need to do it in May?
No, we don't, no.
Okay.
If we're not ready by November, I won't be here, but if we're
Yeah.
not ready with an article
Yeah.
by November, then we would put it on the
Okay.
fall town meeting.
All right, thanks, Randy. Selectmen's Report, Mrs. Donahue. Okay, Mrs. Smith. Okay, thank you. Correspondence from the police department. 2 compliance checks were done at Christopher's on Friday, February 10th, and Saturday, February 11th. The police department spoke to the owner, and they were able to show that he had installed 4 new security cameras in the establishment, 2 cameras inside, 1 camera in the entranceway, and 1 in the outside. In addition, they were introduced to the new employee/doorman who will be working with his usual employment complement. And as the board knows, but for the public's benefit, we had them in for a hearing a while back, and part of our determination of findings was that we required the installation of the security cameras and hiring an additional person for Friday and Saturday nights, and we requested the police department do compliance checks. So I'm awfully happy to see that they're in full compliance with that, and we thank them for their cooperation. Also from the police department, they're requesting we accept a donation of a K9 bulletproof vest at a value of $699.95 be donated to the police department from the New England Vikings Motorcycle Club, which operates out of the American Legion, Post 405 on Mill Street.
Move to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
And send a letter of thank you on to
Absolutely.
them. From the treasurer's office, our town treasurer is requesting our consideration for the creation of a new position in that office of a part-time clerk. Briefly elaborating as to why the treasurer believes there's a need for that, including tackling the backlog of allowing the office to maintain a degree of normalcy, and he's thanking us for our consideration on that. What's the board's pleasure?
I'd move to take it under advisement.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We have no more correspondence, no members of the press with us this evening, no emergency business, no members of the public are still with us. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, pay the bills, no business to be conducted after.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you.